Welcome back, everyone. Davos 2026 just turned into political chaos. In a single day, President Donald Trump demanded control of Greenland, then accidentally called it Iceland on live television, setting the internet on fire. Minutes later, he stunned NATO by announcing a surprise Arctic framework deal, backing off tariffs, and ruling out force. But that wasn't the end. Trump then unveiled a brand new global power structure, the $1 billion Board of Peace, claiming it could reshape how wars end worldwide. And now, on top of all that, he says the Russia-Ukraine war could end pretty soon as he meets President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Switzerland. Is this diplomacy, disruption, or pure spectacle? Today, we're breaking down everything that happened at Davos and why the entire world is paying attention. Let's start with Greenland. For weeks leading up to Davos, Trump had been unusually focused on one place, the Arctic. In his view, Greenland isn't just ice and snow. It's the front line of future global power. As Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes are opening. Russia and China are expanding their presence. And beneath Greenland's surface lie valuable rare earth minerals, critical for modern technology and defense systems. Trump framed Greenland as vital to U.S. national security. At Davos, he argued that Denmark, and Europe more broadly, have failed to adequately protect it. He insisted that only the United States has the military and economic power to secure the region long term. Then he escalated. Trump called Greenland a small ask for Europe and compared his proposal to past U.S. territorial acquisitions. He openly pushed for immediate negotiations over U.S. control or dominant security authority. And if Europe resisted, he threatened tariffs on 8 European countries, including Denmark, Germany, and France. Set to begin as early as February 1st, markets reacted instantly. Stocks dipped. NATO allies were caught off guard. Analysts warned of a looming transatlantic trade war. For a moment, it looked like NATO unity itself was at risk. People weren't just asking what Trump wanted. They were asking how far he was willing to go to get it. Then came the twist. Midway through his Davos appearance, Trump directly addressed growing fears that the U.S. might use military pressure to get its way. He said, "People thought I would use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force." The statement landed like a shockwave. Trump ruled out military action entirely. No invasion, no coercion, just negotiation. Denmark welcomed the clarification, calling it a positive step, but immediately reinforced a red line. Greenland's sovereignty is not negotiable. Meanwhile, public opinion in Greenland itself was clear. Polls and protests showed overwhelming opposition to any U.S. takeover. Still, the damage control worked, at least economically. Markets rebounded almost instantly as fears of tariffs and escalation eased, but the real surprise was still coming. Just hours later, after a closed-door meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump posted a bombshell announcement online. According to Trump, the U.S. and NATO had formed the framework of a future deal covering Greenland and even broader Arctic security. At the same time, he scrapped the threatened February tariffs entirely. So what is this framework? Despite Trump's dramatic language, it does not involve transferring ownership of Greenland. Instead, it focuses on strengthening NATO's Arctic defense posture, expanding U.S. military access and infrastructure in Greenland, coordinating missile defense under Trump's proposed Golden Dome system, joint access to rare earth resources, long-term cooperation across the Arctic region. Mark Rutte emphasized that this was about practical security, not sovereignty. Supporters immediately praised the move as classic Trump deal-making. Apply pressure, force urgency, then pivot to agreement. Critics saw something else, a retreat after Europe refused to budge on sovereignty. Either way, the immediate crisis passed, but Davos wasn't finished with Trump yet. As Trump defended his Arctic ambitions on stage, the moment that would dominate headlines happened. He stopped saying Greenland. Instead, he repeatedly referred to Iceland. When I told them about Iceland, they loved me. Iceland has already cost us a lot of money. The problem was obvious. Greenland and Iceland are not the same place. Greenland is a Danish territory with about 57,000 residents. Iceland is a fully independent nation with its own government and foreign policy. The internet reacted instantly. Iceland trended worldwide. Memes exploded across social media. Satirical maps and jokes flooded timelines. But the laughter quickly gave way to concern. When pressed, the White House tried to deny any mistake, claiming Trump had meant a piece of ice. Video clips clearly contradicted that explanation. European leaders responded sharply. French President Emmanuel Macron warned against new imperialism. Canadian officials criticized American hegemony. Greenlanders themselves marched in protest, demanding respect for their right to self-determination. What looked like a slip of the tongue became symbolic. a moment that captured how casually immense power was being discussed. And just when it seemed Davos couldn't get stranger, Trump launched something entirely new. Later that day, Trump hosted a formal signing ceremony to unveil the Board of Peace. Originally conceived as part of a Gaza ceasefire and reconstruction plan, the body was now being pitched as a global conflict resolution authority. Trump called it one of the most consequential bodies ever created. Its initial mission focuses on coordinating Gaza's reconstruction, managing ceasefire enforcement, reopening border crossings, and rebuilding governance. But the structure raised eyebrows. A leaked draft charter revealed that a $1 billion contribution guarantees a permanent seat. Non-paying members receive only a 3-year term. Trump holds sweeping authority over appointments and agendas. The chairmanship is effectively permanent. Supporters argue this model cuts through UN bureaucracy and ensures real commitment. Critics call it a pay-to-play power club, one that sidelines the UN and centralizes control under Trump. Only around 20 countries signed on at launch. Most major European powers declined, and hovering over the entire announcement was another conflict Trump claimed he could soon resolve. At Davos, Trump made his boldest claim yet. He said the Russia-Ukraine war could end pretty soon. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, added fuel to the optimism. Speaking publicly, Witkoff said negotiations had made significant progress and were now down to one remaining issue, which he described as solvable. Multiple reports suggest that issue centers on territory and long-term security guarantees. Then came breaking news. Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met face-to-face in Davos, while drafts continued moving between Kyiv, Moscow, and European capitals. If successful, it could reshape global security, energy markets, and NATO itself. If it fails, the fallout could be severe. So now the question is yours. Was Davos a masterclass in negotiation or a warning sign for global stability? Drop your thoughts in the comments.